host Rob. This video, we're going to continue the rewind review series of the Fast and the Furious. This time, we're going to review Fast and Furious. Okay, guys, welcome back. So, Fast and the Furious, the fourth installment of the series, definitely, probably my favorite one at this point in the series when I saw it. What I liked is they put Paul Walker in a suit. First of all, I thought that was very fitting, and but it was a very at this point in the series, they're kind of leaving the whole street racing scene, and it's more getting into the whole heist. And and for some reason, even though I love all the racing from the prior movies, especially Tokyo Drift, which turned out to be a pleasant surprise, I very much liked this movie. I thought it was really, really good. It's amazing. This is one of the few movie series that has as many parts as it does, and is not only still successful, but seems to have gotten better with age. Incredible. And that just gives credit to, obviously, the creators, the writers, the actors as well. You can't take anything away from them. They've kept consistency with their roles. A lot of them haven't changed from the day one. You know, sometimes you see a movie series and the character changes, or the actor changes how they portray the character. Where in this series, the actors have been consistent with how they portray their film selves. So, in this movie, obviously, Toretto's been on the run, and he's still with Letty. He leaves her behind because he wants to protect her from all the craziness that's going on, everybody that's after him. She cuts the deal with Paul Walker or Brian, and basically to try and get Toretto out. So Toretto, learning about her death, comes back to the States on the low profile, trying to stay out of the authorities, and he meets up with his sister Mia. And eventually, Mia and Brian, they have like a little luncheon together where, he's still very sorry for what he did, but at this point, he's still kind of he doesn't know who he is. Like, he wants to be the good guy, but sometimes being the good guy doesn't necessarily be, it's not necessarily you being in a suit. And sometimes doing the right thing it's a very, very confusing element, because at the end of the day, these guys are criminals. I said this in my first review. We cheer for them. We love them. They're great and this and that, but they're criminals. We're rooting for criminals. But that's how the story is, because they're criminals, but they're criminals, they don't go out and kill people. They're almost like some sort of Robin Hoods. They steal from the rich, and I wouldn't say they give to the poor. They keep it, but but anyway, so eventually Dominic learns that Brian was using Letty as bait to get into the drug empire of a drug dealer named Arturo Braga. And Arturo Braga obviously has this big empire. FBI have been after him for such a long time, and unfortunately, Letty meets her demise while trying to go on one of these runs. And it goes back to like anything else. A lot of drug cartels, they'll use people to smuggle drugs, promise to pay them sums of money, and at the end of the day, they kill them because they know they can get any other sucker to do their job. So unfortunately, Letty meets her demise. Paul Walker. Once Dominic Toretto learns about this, he kicks the shit out of Brian. Brian apologizes and tries to make amends by not only getting Dominic into the cartel along with him, even though Dominic really kind of does that himself because he wins the race, but also try to get him off the hook for all his prior crimes. So they run drugs for Braga. Because Dominic and Brian know what's going to happen after they run these drugs, they kind of plan. Well, I would say Dominic kind of planned. I'm giving him all the credit because Paul Walker was kind of just there, but I mean, Brian O'Connor did the same. He did his thing. So anyway, they blow up the nitrous in the car. They kind of, created their own diversion. They get out of there, and they're hanging out, staying together, so on and so forth. So at the end of the day, after all is said and done, after they go back down, I believe it's to Mexico. Yeah, after they go down there. And they, capture Braga, bring him in, everything. Even though there were like all these cars chasing him, and they both almost got killed. Unfortunately, Dominic does not escape his fate. He was told by Brian that the feds would, forget his charges if they got Arturo Braga. Dominic knew that wasn't the case. During the trial, they tell him, basically, while we appreciate your help, that doesn't get you off the hook. He goes to jail, and then at the end, obviously, we see the great scene where Mia, Brian, Tego, and Don Omar, really. I mean, that's his real name. He's actually a reggaeton singer from Puerto Rico, I think, or is it? No, Dominican Republic. Some of you guys probably don't know that, but you know, being Spanish and reggaeton is very popular in the Spanish community. So Don Omar is a very, very, very famous reggaeton singer, and you know, they all go and they basically break him out of the bus, and that's how the movie ends. Very, very good movie, I thought. I love to see the conflict between Toretto and O'Connor, even though this conflict's a little bit different this time, because they're not really against each other. They're both fighting for the same thing, but for different reasons. Dominic wants to get revenge for Letty's death. Brian wants to make sure that he gets his job done and gets Toretto off the hook. But at the end of the day, they work together. They put aside their differences and they take down the bad guy, even though they're technically bad guys. And at the end of the day, it was a great movie. Nice car race. I don't want to say car race. Nice car chase scenes, even though they weren't racing so like from the earlier installments of the series. But still, really great cars in there. You had the Torino. That was the green Torino. That was driven. Obviously, Dominic's muscle car, and just always nice cars in these movies. And you know, you don't get to see a lot of the older actors from the other. Like, you don't get to see Tyrese in this one, but you know, you get to see Han in the beginning of the movie, which I'm sure initially when this movie first came out probably threw a lot of people off. But as we all know by now, this took place before the whole Tokyo thing. So good movie. You know, excellent movie. I think really this was the start of the series getting more and more, you know, revenue as it got, you know, more revenue obviously as the movies have gone further, you know, because now after 4 we have 5 and then 6, and I know they're gonna do a 7th, but for some reason this movie just, for whatever reason, it's like the old saying, the older the berry, the sweeter the juice, and it seems to get better as it gets older, the series. So hey, I enjoy it. I think all the movies are pretty good, and it's always been fun to watch them, so I'm looking forward to seeing the 6th one. I haven't gotten to that one yet. But that's it for this review. Next one, we will do Fast and the Furious, or Fast 5, I should say. That should be coming in a couple of days, and I will see you guys next video. Take it easy. Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. I'm your host, Rob. This video, we're going to continue the Rewind review series of the Fast and the Furious. This time, we're going to review Fast and Furious. Okay guys, welcome back. So Fast and the Furious, the 4th installment of the series, definitely probably my favorite one at this point in the series when I saw it. What I liked is they put Paul Walker in a suit. First of all, I thought that was very fitting, and but it was a very at this point in the series they're kind of leaving the whole street racing scene, and it's more getting into the whole heist. And and for some reason, even though I love all the racing from the prior movies, especially Tokyo Drift, which turned out to be a pleasant surprise, I very much like this movie. I thought it was really, really good.